The story of Big City, Big Question is this. We want to listen, we want to learn, and we want to hear what people really care about when it comes to larger than life questions. So we hit the streets, we took a video camera, and we started asking. If you were alone in a room with God, what's one question that you would ask Him? The answers were awesome. Like the guy who said, "God, do you hate me?" Or, "God, can I just check in on some lost friends?" The answers are so good, so personal. We really learned what our city cared about. And so we just had to keep the conversation going. When it comes to larger than life questions, what is the city really thinking?
Wow. Yeah, I do need a minute for that.
Ooh, that's deep.
Such a complicated question. I know, like there's so many, it's loaded.
He wasn't kidding, about a big question.
Yeah.
Do people have an answer for this?
So here it is. If you were God, how would you tell a human who you are?
I don't know, I guess people always want like a big sign, right? So like an epiphany or something?
I would come in the form of an animal and just freak them out when they weren't expecting it.
Probably just say it how it is. I'm God.
I wouldn't want to aggressively be like, I am God.
I like the idea of a big, like, booming presence of a god, so I'd just be like, I'm here, or something like that. Yeah.
I think I would answer something obscure.
Yeah.
I would just come up and say I'm God and prove that I'm God. Simple as that.
I wouldn't.
My child.
My child?
Yeah.
You think they would understand?
What do you mean you wouldn't?
I think that's the bombshell. If you try to explain God, it's too much.
No. That's exactly what I would say. I'd say you're my child.
I wouldn't tell him who I was. I would show him who I am.
It's all around. I think it's being told all the time.
Telling someone that they're your child gives maybe a bit of a sense of ease, a sense of
connection,
placement. Yeah.
Never thought of it that
If you're
way.
someone's child, you have an identity, right?
His answer was better.
I would say I'm a tree. I'm, your waking consciousness. I am your reflection.
Do I have to? I don't know if I would.
Alphabet soup. For sure.
That's good. That's it? It would come as a vision, and it would come through probably an animal.
I would do it through mystery. I wouldn't allow the person to know why I was there, but I would give them a good sign of what they should do. That's what I would think.
If I were God, I would probably try to make myself relatable to people, I guess. Maybe like appear like people or something like that, or I don't know, try to improve the world so that they would sort of know that I'm there.
Probably wouldn't send homeless looking people to disparate places of the world just saying that they're prophets.
I guess the only way for people to believe in God is to see it. So maybe it would just like come raining down like an alien.
If I was God and I went up to someone and I had to tell them for whatever reason that I was God, I would start with an apology, I think. Just because, like, all the things that have been done in his name, whether or not he asked for it to happen, were in his name.
Well, according to my spiritual ideology, I think that I am God and I think that everyone else is God. So I guess that's how I would explain it, that the underlying energy that coexists within everything is God. So technically there is no separation.
If I was going to prove to somebody on the street just out of nowhere, I'd do some big thing right there on the spot. Like I'd make a volcano just pop out of the ground and be like, boom, volcano. But
I'd want to be noticed, so flash of light, bolt of lightning, And how do I tell them who I am?
Oh wow, with a ton of bombast, like no question.
I would come down like it's in a crazy way, like fireworks. Boom! Here I am. I'm God. That's it. Just rock and roll style.
Maybe talk a little bit about who my friends are, how I created the universe, how everybody came together here.
maybe even let them in on what this all means.
If I were God, there'd be no question. Lightning bolts coming out of my eyes and fingertips, lots of glory and wrath.
Big phone call. That's the only thing people like respond to these days, right? Their phones. Maybe a giant mass text to everybody.
I would honestly tell him, I'm you, are me, I'm you. That's really what I think. I mean, it's all God's. That's my thinking with God. It's like within everybody. So he's or her or whatever it is whatever you are. I think. Did you get it?
I am you. I am you in your best, at your best.
A través de hechos y de actos míos, creo que me gustaría que las personas entendieran que yo soy Dios.
Okay. She says she wouldn't do it with words, but with deeds, and she would want to show people that she's God by what she does.
I guess you gotta practice what you preach. If you lead by example, people might pick up on it. I don't know. I think that's what Jesus did, wasn't it? Start off with a small group, preach your word, and just go from there.
I suppose it'd be answering prayers.
You would just answer their prayers.
Yeah.
One, would you like a genie in a bottle sort of thing?
The answers so far have been right across the board. Let's switch it around. The next question has to be, if you were the human and God was revealing himself to you in that way, how would you know for sure that's God?
Like, I'm thinking maybe a space odyssey, and that's sort of like beautiful, kind of like, hello, this is all this beautiful creation, and here are all these answers, so suddenly you can't take them in. I am God. That would really be like, okay, I'm listening. That would get my attention, rather than if some guy came up to me and said, hi, nice to meet you, I'm God.
Yeah, just trust my gut.
I don't think it'd be a voice at all. I don't think it would be like a literal voice that we're used to. I think it'd be I don't even know if it'd be in words or English.
Huh?
And I think that's how I would know if God was speaking to me.
Oh. So it's a feeling.
Yeah, like to say, oh, a big booming voice. Well, that doesn't sound like God. I think it would transcend that completely. If God was speaking to you, it'd be in a way that you can't describe, but you would know.
I guess I wouldn't, right?
I don't think I would need to know, for sure. I think I'd trust it though if I had that vibe, and then I would just trust it.
How would I know for sure that that was God? Well, I guess it would just be pure feel. Just, you have to trust your feeling and your common sense and your logic.
My friend had an experience when she was younger. Her mom passed away when she was 12, and her mom had always had white candles and stuff in the house. And a little bit after she passed away, she was like asking, she wasn't super religious, so she was like a rare moment for her to be talking that way. So she's like asking God, like, just give me a sign that she is at least still present around me, or like still like watching me or whatever. And she like rolled over, and the white candle beside her bed was lit, but she hadn't lit it. So she was like really like taken aback by that. So it's like maybe that's someone showing them that they're listening. I don't know. Like maybe I would do something like that, I guess.
Your faith, like your faith kind of thing. You either are gonna believe it completely and believe in that, or you're just not.
I think God's a certain feeling. I think if the Holy Spirit was in your presence, you'll feel the Holy Spirit in your presence, and that itself can play a big part in you understanding.
You'd receive a Twitter notification.
I would feel it inside.
I think that's
I would
gonna be
feel
my
it
answer
inside
too.
here.
I think you would see a light. I think it would surround you. I don't think you'd know how to explain it. If you did, you'd probably be crazy. But that's how I see it.
If you wanted to actually make a difference and prove to people that God was real, prove to everybody that God was real, you'd be like, okay, no more cancer, okay, no more war, no more famine. You'd have to do something big like that.
Well, you don't. You don't know anything for sure. That's the problem.
You know, it's called faith for a reason.
As a human, it'd be what you believe. There's not really anything that person can do to really prove to you that they're God, but it's kind of with your own level of acceptance and belief.
Ask him lots of questions, and he'd have all the right answers. He'd know exactly how to answer my questions. He'd anticipate what I was going to say and what I was going to ask and what the right answer would be to make me believe in him. Because God's all about belief, isn't he?
How do you prove that they're God? Well, nobody knows. You wouldn't know.
Well, I guess again it would have to be pretty remarkable, right? Like I think that we've been bamboozled over the years by people whispering that they're God and suggesting that you have to have faith, right? And I think that willfully disbelieving something isn't a virtue.
I guess seeing is believing. Show me something. Show me some miracles.
I would, in turn, if I were the human, I'd want to see something pretty spectacular.
Because it doesn't feel like anything else I've ever felt like.
I don't. How does anyone know there's God? Some people think they know. But in reality, we don't know. I don't know at all what you think. I barely know what I think. How the hell do I know if there's God?
Light. It feels like calm and serene. It's not a feeling that I feel when I'm like just at the peak of tequila shots. It's not a feeling that I feel when, like you're snogging somebody that you're really, really into. It's not a feeling that you get by material objects or from another person. You feel it when it's calm, content, and it's just, it's indescribable.
You don't. God isn't about, it's about faith. It's about having trust in knowing. And you don't know. That's why it's trust.
Last question. Let's get to the heart. You're God again, and the human you're trying to reveal yourself to completely ignores you. What would you do? How would you feel?
And almost be like, wait a minute, don't you know who I am? It's like, I spent that time on you, and I have all these other people that I could be taking care of. I guess I'd be pretty offended.
I'd feel pretty upset if I was God and someone was ignoring me. Like, are you serious? Do you know who I am?
No, that's the whole point.
Zow, zow, like I just shot salmon from my fingertips.
Pretty angry, maybe wrathful even,
Why'd I make you in the first place?
I would destroy all human population once. No, I'm just joking. I'm joking.
Wait, I'm God in this? Yeah, I'd have to kill them.
I would start smiting people at this point, right? This is what I'd be doing. I'd be like, dude, I've been like doing crazy shit here. Listening to me, smite a few dudes, right?
Sorry, that's dark.
Clearly they're from Toronto. They do that.
I think God would be quite used to it. It wouldn't be an issue.
I wouldn't care if I was God. I wouldn't care at all. People totally ignore me every day. I'm not God, but...
Wouldn't waste my time on someone who chooses not to believe.
Move on. There's billions of humans on the planet. Find someone else who believes.
Probably just let it go and appear in somebody else's soup.
But I think God is supposed to be forgiving, right? So I mean, what do you think?
I'm God, so I'm supposed to love them. So let's try again the next day.
Try to keep people's, attention these days is a hard enough thing. So maybe God could figure that out, but good luck to him, her, it.
Keep trying to win people over, and she wouldn't feel like a loser or feel like she'd failed. She would just keep trying and be persistent.
When we get ignored, how do we react? Because I don't know if we're built in his image, and I would assume he'd react the same way.
They're just not ready for what I'm preparing them for. Throw in some experiences that would otherwise prepare them for me.
As God, I give you two choices. You listen to me or you don't. It's your choice, and you have the freedom to do whatever you want. And I love you still. Because I'm God, I made you, and therefore I listen to you. And I accept your choice.
You just saw it for yourself. Toronto actually has a lot to say. Despite what people think, the answers to these questions really matter. People care about it. For myself, I started chasing after answers to these questions about 6 years ago, and it changed my perspective. It changed the way I looked at life, the world, changed how I approached jobs and relationships. So what do you think? What questions do you have? How would you answer these questions? Let's keep the conversation going.